I'm going to be honest, most businesses waste thousands of pounds because they get Google Ads keyword research completely wrong. Today, I'm going to share with you the exact process we use in our agency to find the right keywords that are going to target your highest intent customers who are most likely to convert on your website and drive sales for your business. I'm also going to walk through the exact process we use, so let's dive straight into that and start finding the right keywords for your campaigns. Okay, this is how our agency does Google Ads keyword research in 5 simple steps. 2 things to be aware of before we start. Aim for 5 to 10 keywords per ad group. The reason being Google much more at the moment is preferring simplicity, and it's great for us as it means it's a lot easier to manage the campaigns that we're running, and the same for you as well. We also want to make sure we're grouping our ad groups by theme. So for example, if you have different services or your keywords just seem to, there's different sort of search themes that someone might have, then we want to split our keywords into ad groups which sit within your campaigns. So the first step is brainstorming and really getting in the minds of our customer and working out what our ideal customer is searching for. As well, if you have a lot of customers you're on really good terms with, you can also ask them, if you were searching for our service, what would you actually search for? And in most cases it's going to be pretty obvious, but it does depend a lot on your business. So what I'd like you to do, create a quick Google Sheets or an Excel document, and as in this example, I want you to list out 5 to 10 keywords per ad group. I've actually only gone for 3 here, but it can really be that simple. List out your keywords that are going to be the most high intent, that people are most likely to convert from, and list them out here. And the reason, actually, I'll just explain here. So I've split out plumbing Watford and plumbing near me. The reason being, I know from experience that plumbing near me is kind of a different search intent there, and I've often seen these sort of keywords penalised by Google related to having a lower quality score. Quality scores a conversation for a different day, but essentially determines where your ads rank in Google's auction. But I know from experience that it's good to split these out. So if you have similar keywords, I would do the same, put them in their own ad group. But this is just an example of how all these ones are near me, they have that in them. These are more sort of general plumbing quotes, and you'll notice, even though this is plumbing Watford, the thing here is our location targeting will do a lot of the work for us if we're just, for example, targeting Watford. So if I was targeting a wider location outside of Watford, then I'd want to make sure all these keywords are kind of saying find a plumber Watford, so we're not attracting those people who are too far afield and aren't going to then convert. So that's the first thing. For all your different themes, different searches that people can be looking to find your business through, then you want to split that out into different ad groups. And this is really our starting point. Also, it's useful to brainstorm what kind of stuff wouldn't you want people to be searching for. We actually have a full negative keyword list, so drop a comment negative keywords below. I will send that through to you. So these are just, we have a generic keyword list, and then we also want to be thinking for a plumber, for example, what keywords don't we want to be appearing for? So one of those might be compare plumbers near me. If someone was looking for a comparison, if they were looking for jobs, anything like that, then we want these in as negative keywords in your campaign. So that's the first step, asking what would our ideal customer search for and creating this quick list for your business. Also, a great tool just in this initial ideation stage is Answer the Public. So I've got another example here, which is Google Ads Agency. So in this case, you might put in plumbing or just put in whatever your general industry is, and you'll see a lot of questions, and it's just going to help you get in the mind of the customer, think what they're going to be searching for, and you can actually pick out a few of these that you think would be worth including in your campaigns. In this example, it's stuff like, what is Google Ads Agency account? how to start a Google Ads agency. So if I wanted to promote my business, I wouldn't be using these keywords here. So yeah, that's worth checking. You have as well at the moment, they're giving free searches a day. So you can go in there, use that for free. No worries there. So that's the first step. The next stage, so we've got our initial keywords. What we then do is go to the Google Keywords Planner. So this is inbuilt within Google Ads. You go Tools, Planning, Keyword Planner. And there are two ways you can do this, and this can be included in sort of that first step of brainstorming. If you have a website, I would also use the entire site, copy in your website here, and it will create a list of keywords for you. But what we're actually going to do now, we've got the keywords, so just go in here, copy these across. Okay, let me just... Okay, so now we've got our basic keywords list. We want to go over to the Google Keyword Planner. So where you find this is, I'm just going to duplicate it. So okay, so on to step 2. Now we've got our core list of keywords that we expect people to be searching for who are most likely to convert. Then we want to go to the Keyword Planner. So the way you find this is go to Tools and then Keyword Planner, and then you can click Discover New Keywords. You can also start with your website, which is good for the brainstorming phase. Copy in your site, hit Get Results, and Google will suggest relevant keywords. These can often be very broad, so just be careful and don't just blindly put them in. But yeah, what we want to do is then go back to start with keywords, and then what we'll do is copy in our keywords here and then hit Get Results. And you can see the country, you can see the language. As you can see, all the ones I put in have relevance. Some of these plumbing quotes ones, you'll notice, have fewer monthly searches. They're not actually, in terms of what this shows is how much you're paying to get to the top of the page. Also the high range and the low range to appear at the top of the page. So this is just worth bearing in mind. I would still run your campaigns with the kind of most ideal keywords for your business. I wouldn't be too worried about this, because it's often you can get your ads to appear further down the page. It's a lower cost per click, but as long as they're getting clicked by the right people, then it's not one to massively worry about. But we've got our base keywords in here, but then we've also got plumber terms down here. So a great one could be emergency plumber. That's not one I thought of, so I'll chuck that in here. Also, just for context, I'm adding in the square brackets here, because when you upload these keywords to your campaigns, these are registered as exact match keywords, which means if someone is your ads will only show if someone is searching for this keyword exactly. So emergency plumber, for example, let's see if we can find any others. Plumbing services near me, emergency plumber near me can come in as well. we don't have plumbing services near me. So we'll get that in there. So that's just kind of an example. So you use this tool. It also is really useful in that it shows monthly searches. So for example, get a plumbing quote, but especially worth bearing in mind that the location targeting is going to be much smaller. We can see that if because this is across the whole UK, there's something like get a plumbing quote probably isn't going to be worth adding in there because it's just not going to get the search in a small area like Watford. But plumbers near me as well, you can see 110,000. So that's always useful context to bear in mind. Local plumbers could be another good one, so we can just copy that across here. So that is the next step, using the keyword planner to kind of flesh out what you've got already. So on to the next step, and this is actually Google search. So I find this really useful. So it was just a case of going to Google search and we'll grab our keywords. So let's start with plumbing services. Okay, plumbing services. And what you can do is just use the suggested searches, and this will obviously apply to your area. So plumbing services in my area, for example, is one we could use that isn't in there. Let's also search plumbing services. And the other thing you can do is go down to the bottom of the page and see what the suggestions are. And this is great as well for adding negative keywords. So plumbing services meaning, that's something we don't want to show up for. So we would negative that. Also plumbing services price list, probably not right. Plumbing services examples. So you can build out your negative keywords using Google search. So that's the next step in our process, and we actually run it through in this exact order. Let's jump back over here. And the next step is you've got a pretty good keyword list now. You feel like you've got most of the terms. Then it's potentially a good time, and I would say this is an optional step to be honest, is using third-party tools. One of them I really like is Ahrefs. I think there's a level of free access, but it's quite limited. But the paid version will look something like this, where you can put in a keyword, put in the list you've already got, and it shows things like cost per click, it shows volume. So it's like the keyword planner, Google's keyword planner. It's just a little bit more advanced, but as I say, you might have to invest in it. So I would put that in it there as an optional step, but it's something that can, especially depending on the area that your business is in, it can really sort of elevate your keyword research and allow you to expand into new areas you might not have considered. They have like related topics and stuff like that, so can be really useful. And the final thing is ChatGPT. So you might be asking, could I just start with ChatGPT from the start? Yes, I think for the initial brainstorming you can, but I guess that middle section, the problem with ChatGPT is it's not running off actual search volume. It doesn't have a load of context. It just sort of uses what is already there a little bit to try and work out what people could be searching for, but there's no live data and it's just not up to date enough. So I take ChatGPT with a massive pinch of salt, but I do put it in here for step 5 because you first want to, I guess, provide the context on what you're looking for, what your campaign is trying to achieve, what you want ChatGPT to do. So what it would be doing is putting in your list and saying, is there anything I'm missing? And also you want to ask about negative keywords. So what are things that I don't want to show up for? And that's just going to build up on what you already have in there. So it's just that final step and sort of tweaking things at the end. I wouldn't rely on ChatGPT to create your keywords for your Google Ads campaigns because it can't really think itself. So that's how I would use ChatGPT. And now at the end of it, you're hopefully going to have a pretty comprehensive list of keywords that's really your most high intent keywords that are going to bring people through to your website and lead to them converting. So I hope that was useful. If you want my negative keyword list, drop a comment below saying negative keywords. I'll send that across. Also, connect on LinkedIn below, like, subscribe, and if you want to learn more about Google Ads and how you can effectively set up a keywords list and get that right for your business, then I've got my website below, so book a call on there and I'd be happy to help give you a free growth session to see what we can do to improve your ads. So that's everything for now, and see you in the next one. Hope you found that useful.